I'm getting ready to open up a bakery out in Gainesville, Tennessee. It's called Vic's Remember When Bakery. It's where, if you know where the Bull and Thistle's at, just turn on an angle. It's right there. It's right next to the spot. There's a Pappy's Antique Shop out there. We're going to carry cannolis, cream horns, tiramisu, baklava, wedding cakes, birthday cakes, Mayfield ice cream. A lot of people ask me why am I carrying Mayfield. I found out it was a Tennessee brand. It's because there's other places in Gainesboro that do hand-dipped ice cream, and I didn't want to compete with them. I didn't think it was fair. Then you get into that price war, and then I found everybody's excited about Mayfield, so it's Mayfield now. We're going to do specialty pies, pretty much anything bakery related. A lot of people have been asking me if I'm doing sandwiches and salads, and I'm not going to do that. I really want to stick with the bakery products. It's what we specialize in. And when you start turning into a cafe, it kind of takes away from that wow, and then people they end up shopping elsewhere, and I really don't want that. Yesterday I wound up doing a bunch of cannolis and just stuff that a lot of stuff you can't get here in Cookville as well. But we love Gainesville. It's been fun. I still work at Tech. I'm a pastry chef and a catering director out there. But we will be open within 2 weeks. We'll be open. My wife keeps bugging me about when we're going to open, but it's in 2 weeks. One of the things I've realized in Cookville, it's all cake. In Gainesboro, it's all pies. Everybody's ordering pies. And we do a lot of pies, but not as many as I thought I was going to be doing in Gainesboro. From peanut butter to apple to cherry, coconut cream. Then I do a bunch of specialty pies on top of it, where they'll give me grandma's recipe and say, can you duplicate this because I haven't had this in 100 years. And usually when it's grandma's recipe, it's easy because it's real simple, basic ingredients. Go. So what I decided to do is when they asked me to do pies here, I said I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible. I have a bunch of ingredients to make the bases and stuff, but I brought this on purpose. A lot of people say, use instant pudding. No, but you can. A lot of people, they get scared about going in the kitchen. They look at a recipe, they don't know whether it's tablespoons or teaspoons, and then salt and sugar, and it gets confusing. You can use this stuff. There's nothing wrong with using this product, especially if it's a kid using it. Some of this stuff we'll do from scratch. Some of this stuff, people actually want this product as well. Also with our chocolates, I use couverture at Tech, and I also use it in our bakery. It's about $60 a pound. So when you start using chocolate, a lot of people don't want to use it. You can also use this stuff. Most people are used to this brand or they're used to this flavor, so it's definitely available at Walmart. So I try to make it as easy as possible. Making a pie, especially a cream pie, the number one issue people have is that they make it and it's a couple of days old, it gets soggy. And people always complain, well, I don't want to make a cream pie, so they end up making apple, cherry, or peach. There is a secret of keeping that pie longer than a day or two if you're worried about it. What you do is you melt chocolate. Now this chocolate, I call it the cheap chocolate. It's the stuff you get at Walmart because I want people to know it is available. You take your pie shell. Let me go into the pie shell real quick. On all pie shells, you can make your own dough. We make our dough, and you can also buy a pie shell, pre-formed, pre-fab. But most people just throw them in the oven and bake them off. And when you do that, you end up getting a bubble, or they'll crack on you easy. The secret is you have to perforate it. You have to put holes in it. Now most people will use a fork, but then they go too far. If you have a wire whisk that's all beat up, don't throw it away. What you do is you take that beat up whisk and you cut the head off. And now you have something that can perforate your pie. So you get tips out here too. So don't throw these away. Bring them to me if you don't want them. Just cut the part, just get wire cutters, and just cut the head off, and then you have this. So when you get your pie shell, even if it is a frozen pie shell that you guys are going to buy, you just sit there and this one broke off. You just sit there and perforate it. So you get that, and then throw it in the oven. Then you won't get stuck with that big bubble. And then what you do is you take your chocolate, make sure it's melted. Now if you're doing a certain pie, like for this one, everyone always wants chocolate, but you can use white chocolate. If you're doing a Valentine's Day thing, you're doing a strawberry cream pie, you can buy the red chocolate, you can buy the green chocolate. I mean, there's so many different options. Bless you. So what you do is when you put your chocolate in there, you'll throw it in the freezer for about 3 to 6 minutes, and it locks up the chocolate. Don't add water. Some people say you can add water. When you do that, it's shot. Your chocolate's shot. So you want to just chocolate the bottom, you can chocolate the sides. For time constraints, I'm just going to go ahead and do the bottom. And once this locks up, your base or whatever you're putting into your cream pie will sit on this, and it doesn't get your shell all soggy. For the custard, what I do is I take half and half. All right, I guess I should be measuring in front of you. Take a half a cup of half and half. You take 2 egg yolks. Yes, dear. I guess usually I free this, but I'll go ahead and do it here. take a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now with vanilla, there's one with alcohol and without. If you use it with, make sure you're cooking it off. If you use it without, that's the difference. A lot of people don't realize that. They're like, well, I use vanilla, but it's too strong. So if you're cooking with vanilla, you know you're going to cook the base, or if you're going to just put it in the oven with something, the one with alcohol is okay. If you're going to eat it like directly into a mix, try to get the one without alcohol. Not because of the alcohol content, because it actually does have a different flavor in it. You take a pinch of cream of tartar. You know where cream of tartar comes from? When you take the alcohol, like the barrels, like the Jack Daniel barrels, after the alcohol is done and they get it all out of there, they scrape the inside. That's a cream of tartar. It's actually also a preservative too. So you're learning things today. So because it has egg yolks in it, you definitely want to cook it all the way through. I use it on low. I never cook it on high. Everyone thinks because it's high, you have to cook it on high. What happens is if you scorch this, it's shot. You have to throw it away. Unless you're my wife and try to take it. The problem is it's not burnt. If you're going to do a peanut butter pie, cream pie, coconut cream pie, like I said, white chocolate works. I use dark chocolate. You can also use this for dipped strawberries, which I made some, so if you guys want strawberries. I knew Abby was going to be here. Then we got the rest of our base. If you don't want to cook out your custard and you want to cheat, you can go buy the instant mix that you get at Walmart or Kroger. It pretty much, the flavor is a little different obviously, but the base itself and the consistency that you get out of it, it is the same. Because your whole purpose of this is trying to get a Bavarian cream is what you're making. Not a boiled custard, but a Bavarian cream. So when it's complete, it's kind of nice, my son's here. You know, when your son's 21 years old, he's never home. We know he's home when the microwave goes off at 1 in the morning. That's when Jerome's home. So you got your custard base. So you got your Bavarian cream. Now, I like to use real cream, so I'll take heavy whipping cream. It is costly, but when you're selling it, you use heavy whipping cream. You can use it on top. You can use a butter, or it's called better cream, which Riches make. You do the same thing. You just throw it in a mixer. You throw powdered sugar in it. I pre-whipped this one because I wasn't sure if you're gonna have a mixer here, and I didn't want to bring mine here. So you take your basic whip. So this would be a whipped cream. You make a hole in the center. You fold in your Bavarian cream. Where's it at? Oh, there it is. I have to use all of it because it was pre-measured, so I knew exactly what I was going to use. This part isn't fake. The other part was. The key to using a cream, as you guys know, heavy whipping cream turns into butter. If you throw it on a mixer and you use a whip and not a paddle, what happens is even with the Bavarian cream, it gets chunky. And if you're going to run it through a pastry bag, you're going to have butter clumps in there. So you want to fold it. You definitely want to fold. Even though you've already pre-whipped it, if you under-whip it, it will separate on you. The key is almost like meringue. You want that peak when it comes out of your mixer. So this one's, I'm actually making a coconut cream pie. I'm making extra. Usually this is a lot more than one base, but for sample reasons, I went ahead and made extra. So we got mini shells. Once you get your mix in there, and do this in stages. Most people say just pour it in there. I don't like to pour it in there because you can't see it. It's all going to be, you don't know if there's going to be any clumps. Now, the next thing you want to do is 2 steps. You take your raw coconut. Now you can buy, I think we got this at Food Lion. You want to buy sweetened coconut, just shredded coconut. A lot of people want to put toasting coconut, put it in there, and then it gets really soggy. At least this stuff will absorb it. Like I said, it's been pre-measured. Then you fold that in as well. Now to give it that stronger coconut cream pie taste, it's coconut extract. You can get this also at Walmart. You can get it. Now, there's a lady back here that buys pies from me, so don't make your own. Buy them from me. So you would use half a teaspoon, but because Because I'm making a double batch, it's 1 full teaspoon of vanilla, of the coconut, and then just a pinch more. This you gotta be careful because if you get it on you, it stays on you. It's really strong. You guys should go with the smell in the front. Now by now, while you're mixing it, your pie should, well, this one's almost ready, but I can still use it. Where your chocolate sets up, and you can do the sides as well. Plus the last one is dessert, so that's the best one to do. I'm glad Jerome's here, so you can have it clean. This is called an offset. Obviously, it's offset. You can get these at Walmart as well. There's 2 different kinds. They have the Wilton. The Wilton ones do this. These right here, I actually get at Hobby Lobby. I get them online, but you can get this brand. It's called Arco. It said you can get online. You can get it at Hobby Lobby. It's a lot stronger. And what happens is with the flexible ones, when you're pushing it and it goes up, you'll never get it to stretch. To stay solid. So what I do is I push it in the center first. Run it to the edges. A lot of people just try to stay in. Run it to the edges. I don't have a pre-pie made, so this is actually the pie. Now another reason I don't put toasted coconut inside, because I actually use it for the top garnish. Coconut cream. I know she wasn't talking to me. Your edges. Can I have a volunteer, Abby?
Sure, she's coming.
Hi, Abby. Abby Reeder is my future daughter-in-law. Jerome thinks he's the lucky one, but I'm the lucky one. Abby, you can't mess this up. All you gotta do, you're a preschool teacher, so just color in between the lines. You can do this, Abby. Now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and garnish the top. When you take your heavy whipping cream and you add your sugar in it, one-handed. That's impressive, Abby. What I like to do is I do the edges first.
Oh, you're faster than her.
She's in training. I'm not trying to make it look bad. Abby, I love you, I promise. On your mark. So always do the edges first. What this does also, it also seals your edge for sogginess. You get in there. And then garnish the center. One thing I like to do is leave the pie exposed on top so people can actually see what kind of flavor it is. Especially if it's a holiday and you're unsure what kind of pie it is. If you leave a little bit, people will know. Yeah, I'll know. Where's my glove, Abby? You're doing it, Ab. Kinda. Okay. And this is where the toasted coconut comes in. You take the exact same coconut, throw it in your oven, 300 degrees. Don't jack it up. Leave it at 300 degrees. Every about 15 minutes, you're going to keep, hey Daniel, you're going to keep turning it and turning it and turning it until you get to this. Keep it sealed. They have to be called vat packs. You can buy them at, you can't buy them at Walmart anymore. They use the Kroger sells them. So if you're going to store it in a plastic container and throw that in there, it takes the moisture out. You actually want the moisture out of this because it will mold if you leave it for too long. Then I usually do the edges. I'm making a mess, but that's okay. And then the top. And for $12.99 at Victory, remember when Victory? You can pick up one.
That's what I would. Wow.
Yeah, it'd be a lot easier just to go there with it. That's your kind of, you can garnish it any way. You can put cherries on it. You can put. You're done with that, Abby? Hang on, you're not done, Abby. Okay, now we'll do mini ones. Because of time, I went ahead and pre-made some chocolate ones that are on this tray. Sorry, Ab. You're not done though.
Gotta have rubber bands.
Gotta have a glove on, Ab.
Is it ABBY or ABBI?
You're just gonna do these. No, just on the coconut ones. I did chocolate ones in advance.
She might not marry your son after.
Oh, she's marrying him. When he gets married, my electric bill goes half, my phone bill goes half. Yep, good done. Thanks, Abby. Now I have chocolate silk pie and coconut cream pie on here. Happy passing. These are students from Cookville High School. Next, we're going to do a peanut butter pie. I'll get rid of this mess.
Look at the best are.
Now with peanut butter, it's a little iffy. A lot of people are allergic to peanuts, and I do use peanuts in it. Are they good? Jerome, you ate one. Thank you. Peanut butter pie, I use the same base, a heavy whipping cream. If you're on a diet, this is not the pie. This is not the pie.
Good for diabetes.
It is. Somebody said I was a crack dealer for diabetics. Made me feel real good. Same thing. Now with peanut butter pie, I do use chocolate, dark chocolate. I'm going to use this chocolate since it's already melted. Again, if you're new here, you just came up here, I do chocolate on the base.
Wait, Betty.
So it doesn't soggy, doesn't have your crust doesn't get soggy.
Take the lemon chocolate.
Peanut butter is a little bit more simpler, it's quicker. Do not use a cheap peanut butter when you do peanut butter pie. You guys notice when you buy the cheap peanut butter, you take the lid off, all that oil's there? Now that happens to all peanut butters, but when you mix a cheap peanut butter within 24 hours, it separates it. If you don't mix it all the way and you make a peanut butter pie out of it, it will separate. What happens is, I call it cooking the cream, and what happens is, do you need more? Okay, cool. What happens with that cream is it starts to separate. Now, if you guys do cream pies and and you'll say yes when you hear this, you use cheap ingredients, especially with peanut butter like that, your pies shrink in and you see the edges around your pie. Usually that's because it's separated and it's trying to suck up all the moisture, and that's what happens. It takes all the moisture out of your pie shell. Even if you do use a cheaper peanut butter, you get a little longer because you're going to go ahead and call it painting chocolate. You're going to paint your shells. Now with the peanut butter one, and I'm not going to measure this, but it is 1.5 cups of peanut butter per pie. Yeah, I use Peter Pan. I grew up on Peter Pan in New Jersey, so it's...
So how do you know this one from the bad one?
The brand, brand, Peter Pan Peter Pan doesn't separate. I bought this about a week ago. I've used it twice, and there's no oil on top. Now I buy a bigger container because we're making a bunch of pies, but even the smaller ones, it's usually the ones, and if you look, buy the one in the back. You know, most people don't rotate. The front ones have the oil, the back ones are nice, usually when they get it. Or they've been in the truck so long, the heat ends up separating them as well. So I always tell people, take it completely out of your jar, mix it up, and then put it back in your jar, and it lasts a lot longer. Now with your peanut butter, you're going to use... use 1.5 cups of peanut butter. 1.5 peanut butter. You just want to melt this. You don't want to melt it all the way. You just want it where it gets soft. I can use this. I use copper when I cook, only because the consistency of the heat, you don't get any hot spots or cold spots, and it cooks consistently. Now, if you use Teflon and you use a metal spoon in Teflon, you're going to have those little black pieces inside your product. You don't want to do that.
Well, it's stainless.
There is a difference in copper to the other one. Oh, because I made extra. Another cup. That's a cup, Steve. And you're just softening it. If you go too long and it melts, don't use it, or make a sandwich out of it, or something out of it. So you just want to soften it. You just want it where it's kind of gooey. You're going to use about a tablespoon of powdered sugar. This does two things. Besides sweetening it more, it's also a binding agent. Even though we made it soft, It's still gonna work. It's not gonna separate. You'd whip your same heavy cream or on top. Don't use Cool Whip. Cool Whip melts instantly. You guys ever put on a pie and don't use Cool Whip. Don't use it frozen or Equate. Try to get it on top or any kind of richest product. So inside your heavy whipping cream, you got powdered sugar and vanilla. Then you have your peanut butter and more powdered sugar. This one's really, really simple. Same rules apply. Hold. Now this one's going to look like it's starting to separate because it's trying to mix in between, but it will mix. Do not use a whip. Where's Nene, girl? You know you've been singing that. Abby, I need you again. This will get tight as you whip it. Now my wife in our bakery has decided for me to make this same mix, put it in a donut as a filling, dip it in chocolate and then peanuts. So that will be available. If you don't like it, it's really fun.
Here comes your bag again.
There goes my bag again. She said Dave. Now you can buy these also at Walmart, your filling bags. You can also use paper. I don't recommend it. This one doesn't have a tip in it because she's going to be filling mini pie shells with it.
So did they come with the tips cut or did you cut it?
No, I cut it before I came here. Where's the other one at? No. Anybody not get a coconut cream one? I'll do some more coconut cream.
He just wants to show off.
My son said, I bet you can't embarrass her, guys. Not even see. This mix is really good. You don't have to do pie shells. You can actually use it as a cake filling as well.
Not pie.
While she's doing those, take your pie filling the same way. Steal it from your daughter-in-law because you put too much in the bag. There you go.
That's it.
Same deal. Move it to the edges, to the end. This stuff is really, really rich. Again, if you use a cheaper peanut butter, mix it first and then use it. Peanut butter is not cheap. And you can do different designs. Seal it the same way. It's easier on a turntable, but you guys won't be able to see it. Did you get them all, Abby? Don't leave.
Uh-oh.
You can do a high one on this also with cream, and go even higher than this. Hey, Jackie. Yep. And then I take peanuts. If you're allergic to peanuts, just let Abby or let the students know. I make a mess.
Oh, he does it over the trash.
Over the trash can.
What kind of peanuts are you using this?
This is just chopped peanuts. I buy it from Cisco, but you can put peanuts in a food processor. Here's the key to this one though. Remember that milk chocolate?
Yes.
Because you have it on the base. You're doing good, Ab. I'm milking the clock now.
You're going to have a job when you get done there.
No, she thought she was good at work. You know, it's frozen your shirt. You got a uniform on?
Oh, she's ready.
Take the same chocolate. Just drizzle it on top. Take an extra shot of insulin and Jordan gets high. Yeah, no, we do, one of the things I do in the bakery, I do it now at Tech, but I also do it there. If you're diabetic, gluten-free, a lot of people are gluten-free diet, some people on it because of the diet, some people on it because they have to be on it. Oh, wait, Abby. No. Gotta tarnish them. We do gluten-free product out there. We do, like I said, the sugar-free, gluten-free, any kind of specialty. A lot of times, because Grandma made a recipe and now this person's diabetic, they'll ask me to convert it. So you can do the conversion for Splenda, Steva. I mean, there's so many different artificial sweeteners. People are afraid of them. But if you notice, when the low-carb diet was big, it was huge in 04, 05, it's not as big anymore, but you still see all these sugar-free products on it. It's because diabetics ended up supporting all that food because they didn't get a chance to have that food without sugar in it. He's doing good. They didn't have a chance to have all that food, and now they do. So people are thinking it's because of low carb, but it's actually because of sugar-free products. The ones on the end are the coconut cream. The other ones are peanut butter. Oops. Let's go ahead and give you guys some chocolate. Here you go. Thanks, John.
Who has to clean up the mess?
Oh, that's where Abby comes in.
Oh, Abby.
You want to see the back of the bakery sometimes when people order a bunch? When they had the wine festival, they asked me to do, I had to do over 1,000 mini pastries. Oh, it was a mess.
Are you talking wine festival in Gabriel?
Yeah, we
I
ended up doing, well, they did the, well, they went to like 8 different wineries. I ended up doing 6 of the 8, and there was stuff everywhere. It was fun.
Wow.
Ron got out of it. So, you can also garnish it with cherries, strawberries. Start back there with that guy right there with his hands folded. That's Daniel. Anybody have any questions? You have a question? Oh, when am I opening? Number one question. Within 2 weeks. 2 weeks, I'll be open. We're ready. We have everything ready to go. It's just been a challenge to detect because we've been so busy out there.
That seems better than the other one.
Is it? Yeah, it's pretty rich.
I love peanut butter.
So think about eating a whole piece of pie. Now you get to pick which one you want. Peanut butter?
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Now the pies that we make the same ones. I do make them a little bit higher in the bakery. They're $12.99 a piece, so they're really not super expensive. But like I said, we're also going to be carrying donuts and eclairs and bear claws and turnovers and any other tiramisu, baklava. And I'm going to do individual. So what I'm hoping is like when people go to the Bull and Thistle or the Spot or anything, they want dessert, they'll come over there and get that one. And I do encourage, if you're with your spouse, you can actually get a dessert and cut it in half. Daniel can verify this one. Most of my individual desserts are for 2. They're pretty big. So if you want to come in there and get a cup of coffee, we're doing specialty coffees, and split a dessert, I definitely encourage it. Don't feel like, oh, I need to get 2. No, they are pretty big. Unless you do get 2 and then you take one home for tomorrow. But we're doing birthday cakes and wedding cakes, anniversary cakes, baby shower cakes. It's sad, but I don't know if I'm going to do it yet, Steve, but somebody asked me to do a divorce cake. So that's probably not going to happen. She wanted black roses on it. And I thought about doing it just to make it as a color so the teeth are black. It's kind of fun. But yeah, it's different, some of the requests. You got some extra ones. Want another one?
I'll have one.
Oh.